Good morning. I once again come to you to demonstrate to you how the Democratic Party is in free fall and they are afraid of Donald Trump. First up, we've got the Morning Joe show. I'm not pushing for Biden to step aside. I'm pushing for us to have a very unemotional, clear perspective on how we salvage the progress that's been made in the 3.5 years and move forward, because we have real danger, which was demonstrated last night by Trump. Let's watch the video.
I spoke with him on Monday, and what I said to him is that I really feel that people must deal with the record of what he did and his legacy and what he has done. And he must make the decision, and I think all of us should respect that, of how to protect that legacy. And that could be by him deciding to go on, or him deciding not to, with a cold, unemotional decision. There are those that said I was saying he should step out. I'm not saying he should step out. I'm saying that he should make that decision. And what he's done around voting rights, what he's done around protecting women's rights.
By voting rights, he means letting illegal immigrants vote. Women's rights, they mean, well, you know what they mean by that.
Choose what he's done in areas of police reform and others that I've worked with him. I think it needs to
Police reform means letting criminals get away with crimes.
Be protected. He may decide the best way to protect it is for him to stay in and he believes he can win, or for him to step aside. That's his choice. He should not be pushed off the stage. I think this Democratic, those that are in the Democratic Party that are trying to push or shove, I think are doing a disservice to all of the work that has been done in the last 3.5 years by the Biden-Harris administration. So again, I'm not saying he should move out. I'm not pushing for him to step aside. I'm pushing for us to have a very unemotional, clear perspective on how we salvage the progress that has been made in the last 3.5 years and move forward, because we have real danger, which was demonstrated last night by Donald Trump. We'll have real danger to all of those achievements.
Yeah.
And they're right to be afraid. I mean, the Republican Party is unifying. I watched Trump's speech at the RNC last night. Accompanied by a drinking game. Probably shouldn't have played that game, because the people over at Louder with Crowder, they don't really advise you to drink water. Anyways, moving along to Reuters. Once defiant, Biden is now soul-searching about dropping out of race. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, Washington, July 18th. U.S. President Joe Biden is taking calls to step aside as the Democratic presidential candidate seriously, and multiple Democratic officials think an exit is a matter of time, according to sources familiar with the matter. His soul-searching is actually happening. I know that for a fact, said one of the sources, who requested anonymity. He's thinking about this very seriously. Biden, 81, has faced increasing pressure from heavyweights in his party to cede his position at the top of the ticket after a shoddy debate performance against former President Donald Trump. The Republican nominee raised fears about his age and ability to win in November. The president has pushed back defiantly against those calls, arguing that he has won millions of votes in primary races over the last several months and is Democratic voters' choice. As recently as Wednesday, he vowed, "I am all in the 2024 race." And the people in the Democratic Party pushing for him to step down or resign, they're staging a coup against the Democrats' democratically elected nominee for president. It's ridiculous. They're saying things like, "Oh, we must do this to protect our democracy." You voted for him. Your people voted for him, and now you're telling him to leave. Anyways, I get tired of Reuters' emotional drivel. Inside the doom loop of Joe Biden's campaign. This is from CNN. Multiple leading Democrats tell CNN they feel caught in what one described as a doom loop, with every move to keep President Joe Biden in or push him out further, destroying their chances against Donald Trump. It's breaking the resolve of even staunch allies. It's feeding bad polls. It's turning off more donors. It's sustaining a media atmosphere where no matter what Biden does, he comes off looking like a failure. And for those who were hoping Biden would quit, the public and private pressure, several top Democrats worry, has been backfiring. The public and private pressure, several top Democrats worry, has been backfiring. His last act will not be getting knocked down, said one longtime Biden 2020 campaign aide of the family and the inner circle. They won't allow it. Even several Democrats who want Biden to go acknowledge they've created a situation where he will never be able to satisfy the tests skeptics have said he must pass to stay their nominee. They are buckling down harder, especially when the critiques are more based on vibes, like when Illinois Senator Dick Durbin suggested in a session between top aides and Senate Democrats last week to put him in a muscle shirt, like Reagan chopping wood, according to one person briefed on the discussion. All they care about is they're trying to sell this guy on an image. Put him in a muscle shirt like Reagan chopping wood. That's not Joe Biden. Joe Biden is old grandpa who's going a little bit senile, and he's like, oh, that was some good ice cream. I think my favorite is chocolate chip. Anyways, going on to Scanner. Top Democrats expect Biden to withdraw from 2024 race as soon as this weekend. My dad actually tipped me off to this little bit of news. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will do everything in her power to force him to step aside. You're not strong enough, Joe. Donald Trump's too powerful. He's too powerful, damn it. Top Democrats are now suggesting that increased pressure on President Joe Biden to end his candidacy is having an effect, with some believing he could drop out of the presidential race as soon as this weekend. While Biden's public image suggests he is firmly committed to continuing his candidacy, unnamed officials who spoke with Axios indicate he is privately reconsidering his position. This reconsideration is driven by poor polling, intense scrutiny, and mounting pressure from within his own party. Yeah, they're all stabbing him in the back. Biden's willingness to consider bowing out reportedly followed a blunt one-on-one conversation with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York, last weekend, according to ABC News' Jonathan Karl. CNN similarly reported that Biden is becoming more receptive to these calls of concern about his candidacy. According to an advisor who spoke with the outlet, Biden is also being less defiant in private than he is in public. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is among those urging Biden to step aside. While she has not publicly called for his withdrawal, she privately advised Biden during a call this week that polling shows he has no path to defeating former President Donald Trump. She warned that if Biden remains the party's nominee, he would likely lose and potentially trigger losses in down-ballot races, jeopardizing Democratic control over the House. Wouldn't that be great? You know, just he takes the Democratic Party down with him. Pelosi also cautioned that Democratic lawmakers would become more vocal about his weaknesses if he stayed in the race. I mean, they're already doing it. I saw CNN calling out his gaffes earlier this week, and up until the debate, they were saying, "Oh, President Biden, he's in the best shape he's ever been." After the debate, they're calling out his stutters, as they call them. used to call them. Now they're saying he might be demented or senile. Yeah, a California Democratic strategist told Politico that Pelosi has given House members the go-ahead to publicly distance themselves from Biden's struggling campaign. There's no control of House Democrats, said the strategist, who was granted anonymity to discuss private conversations. They're free to do whatever they like because President Biden, I think he's lost control of the party. Wouldn't it be great if this was somebody like I don't know, AOC or Adam Schiff? You know, the person who's claiming anonymity. Anyways, we're going to move on to the next one here. Why the Replace Biden campaign likely came to an end on Saturday. They no longer believe it even matters. This is from the Post Millennial. As President Joe Biden continues to drop in the polls since his disastrous debate performance in June, Democrats are concerned that the assassination attempt on Donald Trump will seal the former president's victory in the November election. A longtime Democratic insider discussing the iconic photo of Trump pumping his fist in the air with blood dripping down his face and the American flag waving behind him told NBC, "We're so beyond effed." I'm not going to say the curse word because I want to keep it family friendly on here. A veteran of Democratic congressional campaigns said of the iconic image, "The clear effect of this assassination attempt is that it officially thrust Donald Trump out of politics and into martyrdom. They're framing this as an attack on MAGA and not on Trump. Even more powerful. This is literally biblical stuff we're talking about." I don't know if I would call it biblical. I mean, I feel like there might have been a little bit of divine providence there when Trump he moved his head like a quarter of an inch and it sent the bullet outside of its intended path, which was through his skull. He dodged that bullet by millimeters, and we were almost set into chaos. It would have been Franz Ferdinand times 10, however many you want to say, but a lot. The person added that Democrats will never be able to compete with that level of enthusiasm among base voters. So yeah, we're even more effed with Biden, and relying on Trump to be a galvanizing, unifying enemy won't work well. A Democratic consultant told the outlet the presidential contest ended last night. He added, "Now it's time to focus on keeping the Senate and trying to pick up the House. The only positive thing to come out of last night for Democrats is we are no longer talking about Joe Biden's age today." And you know, I want to add, despite how well things seem to be going for Republicans and conservatives, we've seen that polling can be wrong. We saw that in 2016 when all the polls favored Hillary Clinton, but then Donald Trump won anyways. And then in 2020 when all the polls were favoring Trump, and then Joe Biden won because of mass mail-in ballots and ballot harvesting. And I feel like there were some illegal immigrants voting. How many? I'm not sure, but they've proven that they're voting in local elections. Who's to say when they apply for their Social Security card, they're not also voting in federal elections? Another Democratic strategist told NBC that the attempt on Trump's life destroyed Biden's key argument that the former president is a threat to democracy. According to the strategist, the message is dead. Adding that the bullet that nicked Trump's ear probably saved Biden's nomination by stopping calls from Democrats for him to end his campaign and doomed his re-election. Yeah. So yeah, don't rest on your laurels. Register your friends and family. Take them all out on election day and go vote. That's all I can say about that. co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee, Adam Green, told the outlet, "I'm very concerned that the net effect of the Republican convention will be neutralizing the core democracy critique of Trump, a felon who fomented a violent insurrection, tried to block the peaceful transfer of power, and said the Constitution may need to be terminated." Those were all lies. He never said any of that. Green continued, "There is a race to define the democracy critique of Trump as legitimate, and we all need to make clear now that protecting democracy is the exact opposite of political violence." Polls taken near after the debate but before the assassination attempt have so far shown the election is close, with Trump pulling ahead as Biden's approval drops. Yeah. And then here we've got another one from Post Millennial. Breaking: Obama suggests Biden should reconsider viability of his candidacy. Report: Obama has told allies that perhaps Biden does not have the path to victory and ought to reconsider his plan to seek a second term in the White House. As pressure from top Dems encouraging Joe Biden drop out of the presidential race continues to mount, a new voice has entered the chorus, that of Biden's former boss, former President Barack Obama. According to a new report from the Washington Post, Obama has told allies that perhaps Biden does not have a path to victory and ought to reconsider his plan to seek a second term. Obama, who has only talked to Biden once since his disastrous debate against former President Donald Trump on June 27th, has been reportedly more candid with others in the party about his thoughts for Biden's campaign. Obama is apparently worried about Biden's legacy. Others have said, on condition of anonymity, that how Biden chooses now marks the difference between a good legacy and a devastating one. So yeah, Obama hasn't been really on Biden's side for a while. So we got this old gem from New York Post. Barack Obama was right to be wary of Joe Biden's ability to F things up. He said, he didn't say this publicly, he said it in private, but still, it rings true. Barack Obama's gift for soaring oratory in front of big audiences was a formidable political weapon, but probably the most important thing he ever said was uttered in private. Speaking to a fellow Democrat about Joe Biden being the party's nominee in 2020, Obama famously warned, don't underestimate Joe's ability to F things up. There is no legitimate claim the former president was wrong about his vice president. The evidence that he was on target is everywhere, from the border to the economy to the crime explosion on Biden's watch. Then there's Ukraine, which offers proof of Obama's point in a different way. It shows that even on the rare occasion that when Biden gets the big policy right, he still finds a way to F things up. Witnessing, I could imagine how he's saying this. It shows that even on the rare occasion when Biden gets the big policy right, he still finds a way to F things up. Witness the bizarre timing of the president's recent statements about Ukraine's bid to join NATO and his administration's contorted defense of why it's planning to send cluster bombs to the Ukrainian military. Yeah, this was from a year ago. They updated it the next day after it was published. So, yeah, the Democratic Party is in free fall, and we're here to see all of it. And for your viewing pleasure, here's Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt off at the RNC last night.
And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
I love it. Anyways, please remember to like, share, and comment. Smash that like button. Give me some criticism if you got any. I'm open to criticism as long as it's reasonable. And don't have a bad time. I'll see you in a few hours. Ciao.